On a warm summer evening, Bondi Beach was alive with the spirit of Chanukah by the sea, a festival of lights, laughter, and community. The golden sun dipped below the horizon, casting a gentle glow over the sand as families, friends, and neighbors came together to celebrate a cherished tradition. The air was filled with music, the scent of delicious food, and the joyful chatter of people united by hope and faith. Families gathered, children played, and anticipation for the menorah lighting filled the air. Laughter echoed along the shoreline, and the menorah stood tall, ready to be lit as a symbol of perseverance and unity. For many, this night was a highlight of the year, a moment to reconnect, to share stories, and to pass on traditions to the next generation. But on December 14th, 2025, joy was shattered by a sudden, violent attack. In an instant, the festive atmosphere was pierced by fear and confusion. Sirens wailed as emergency vehicles rushed to the scene, and the beach, once filled with laughter, was overtaken by panic and disbelief. The sounds of celebration were replaced by chaos and fear as the reality of the tragedy set in. People scrambled for safety, searching for loved ones amid the turmoil. The sense of security that had defined the evening was lost in a matter of moments, replaced by heartbreak and uncertainty. What was meant to be a sanctuary became a scene of terror, leaving a deep scar on the community. The festival grounds, once vibrant and full of life, were now marked by sorrow and disbelief. The aftermath was a stark reminder of how quickly peace can be shattered. The attack targeted a sacred celebration, striking at the heart of religious freedom and unity. The menorah, a beacon of hope, now stood surrounded by police tape, a powerful symbol of resilience in the face of hatred. The community was left to grapple with the pain of loss and the challenge of healing. Its shockwaves reached far beyond Sydney, igniting urgent conversations about safety and tolerance. Around the world, people watched in disbelief, mourning with the community and questioning how such violence could strike a peaceful celebration. The tragedy sparked a renewed commitment to stand against hate and protect the values of acceptance and inclusion. As we recount this night, we honor the victims and the resilience that emerged from darkness. The community gathered in solidarity, holding candles to remember those lost and to reaffirm their commitment to hope, unity, and the enduring light of Hanukkah. Chanukah by the sea was more than just a cherished tradition. It was a vibrant celebration that brought together generations, blending ancient rituals with the unique, laid-back spirit of Bondi Beach. Each year, families, friends, and visitors from all walks of life would gather by the ocean, their hearts warmed by the glow of the menorah and the sound of laughter echoing across the sand. The festival's atmosphere was as relaxed as the waves rolling onto the shore, a true reflection of the easygoing Bondi lifestyle, where tradition and modernity met in harmony. Hundreds gathered for music, delicious food, and the lighting of a giant menorah at sunset, a moment that always felt magical, uniting the community in a shared sense of wonder and belonging. The festival embodied community, openness, and the joy of shared heritage. It was a place where strangers became friends, and where the richness of Jewish culture was celebrated openly, embraced by the wider Australian community. But in an instant, that sense of safety and unity was shattered. Violence erupted at the event's peak, sending shockwaves through the crowd and turning a joyous gathering into chaos and fear. The attack struck at the very heart of Australian life, transforming a place of peace and celebration into a site of horror and disbelief. The beach, once filled with music and laughter, was now marked by sirens and sorrow. Children, families, and friends, once united in celebration, were suddenly caught in a nightmare, their joy replaced by fear and confusion. The bonds that had brought them together were tested in unimaginable ways. The memory of what should have been, a night of light, hope, and togetherness, now stands in stark contrast to the tragedy that unfolded. The menorah's glow, once a symbol of resilience, now flickers with the weight of loss. The void left behind will echo for generations, a painful reminder of how quickly peace can be broken and how deeply a community can grieve for what was lost. Trouble began around 6 to 45 p.m., just as the festival was at its height. At first, sharp sounds were mistaken for fireworks, until panic swept the crowd. Multiple shooters struck, one from a bridge above, another moving through the crowd. The beach became a deadly trap, with people running for cover or helping the wounded. Social media captured the chaos, families fleeing, strangers helping each other, terror everywhere. The shooting lasted only minutes, but for those present, it felt endless. Police arrived swiftly, but the calculated violence had already left devastation. The attack was brief, brutal, and left a community forever changed. In those moments, both cruelty and courage were on full display. Emergency calls flooded in as police raced to Bondi Beach, running toward danger while others fled. Officers confronted the gunman head-on. One was killed, another critically wounded and arrested. Their bravery saved countless lives, though some officers were injured in the process. Paramedics and rescue teams rushed in, transforming the beach into a triage center. Medical teams worked tirelessly to treat the wounded and stabilize the most critical. Coordination among police, paramedics, and firefighters was seamless under immense pressure. Survivors were evacuated and the area secured for investigation. The response was a testament to the courage and professionalism of Sydney's first responders. Amid chaos, their actions brought hope and order. The tragedy claimed at least 12 lives. Parents, children, friends, each loss a devastating blow. Among the dead and injured were children, their futures stolen in an instant. 29 others were hospitalized, facing long recoveries and deep psychological scars. Stories of the victims revealed a vibrant, close-knit community torn apart. Survivors grapple with trauma, survivors' guilt, and memories that will never fade. The human cost extends far beyond numbers, touching everyone present that night. Healing will require time, support, and the strength of community. The legacy of this tragedy is measured in lives forever changed. Survivors' stories reveal not only the terror, but also the raw humanity that emerged on that unforgettable night. As chaos erupted, ordinary people were thrust into extraordinary circumstances, forced to make split-second decisions that would change their lives forever. The city, once alive with laughter and music, was suddenly transformed into a scene of confusion and fear. Sarah, who was there with her 2 young children, recalls how confusion quickly turned to panic as the first shots rang out. She describes the moment when the crowd's energy shifted from celebration to sheer terror and the desperate scramble to find safety amid the chaos. "I grabbed my kids and ran. We hid in a restaurant kitchen, praying it would end." She remembers the sound of people screaming and the pounding of her own heart as she tried to keep her children calm, whispering reassurances she barely believed herself. David, who watched from a nearby balcony, saw a gunman calmly firing into the crowd below. "It was pure evil. I felt helpless," he says, describing the surreal horror of witnessing violence unfold from above, unable to do anything but record the scene and call for help. Amid the chaos, strangers became heroes. People helped each other. Ben and his friends saved a wounded woman, using a belt as a tourniquet to stop the bleeding. Their quick thinking and courage made the difference between life and death for many that night. Restaurants and shops became impromptu shelters, with owners locking doors and comforting terrified families. Many business owners risked their own safety to protect those seeking refuge, offering water, blankets, and words of comfort to the frightened. The contrast between celebration and carnage is seared into every witness's memory. Balloons and streamers lay abandoned beside police tape, a haunting reminder of how quickly joy can turn to tragedy. Yet, in the darkest moments, acts of compassion shone through. Strangers hugged, comforted, and supported one another, forging bonds that would last long after the night ended. The trauma lingers for all who were there, but so does the courage and kindness shown by ordinary people who, in the face of horror, chose to help each other survive. The attack struck at the heart of Sydney's Jewish community, leaving deep fear and grief. Hanukkah, once a symbol of deliverance, is now linked to profound loss. Synagogues and community centres became places of mourning and solidarity. Security has tightened, forcing a painful balance between safety and openness. Despite fear, the community responded with remarkable strength, organising support, counselling, and aid. Leaders urge a response of light over darkness, unity over division. The determination to persevere and support one another is unwavering. Resilience, not hatred, defines the community's spirit. Authorities launched a sweeping investigation, led by counter-terrorism teams. Focus turned to the attackers' identities, motives, and possible connections. Forensic teams and digital analysts worked around the clock to piece together the plot. Leaders condemned the attack, vowing justice and support for victims. The Prime Minister and Premier called for unity, resilience, and the defence of multicultural values. Police provided regular updates, balancing transparency with investigative needs. The government pledged mental health support and resources for those affected. The path forward demands both answers and compassion for a community in pain. Bondi Beach's tragedy will be remembered as a dark day, but also as a testament to resilience. Amid grief, hope emerged in the form of solidarity, courage, and compassion. Police, first responders, and ordinary citizens showed extraordinary bravery. Vigils and interfaith gatherings sent a clear message. Hatred will not divide us. Healing will take time, but unity and kindness are stronger than violence. This tragedy must inspire change, ensuring celebrations remain safe and open. The attackers failed to extinguish the light. It burns brighter in the community's response. By standing together, Bondi and Australia honour the lost and affirm the power of resilience.